Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you, and welcome back to another Halloween episode. I've been doing these little Halloween bits for a number of years now, and if you've missed the previous episodes, I'll put a link down to them below. Lots of fun inspiration, some more complicated than others, but generally I'm going for easy, fun, Halloweeny themed treats that you can make lickety-split, quick and easy is my hope. Or some of them are just unusual, but most of them are pretty simple and easy because Halloween is super fun. I love celebrating it, especially if you have children in your life. Absolutely wonderful. You can tap into some nostalgia and throwbacks and memories, hopefully fond memories of this time of year of going trick-or-treating and getting lots of candy, going out at night and dressing up. It's a lot of fun. So today I'm here to make some simple and easy Halloweeny treats for your Halloween party or just because. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. So first one's a little bit unusual. We're going to be making Rice Krispie treats, but instead of Rice Krispies, we're going to be using Cheetos. So on the top of the bag it says spooky recipes, and it gives you the recipe on the back for scary good flavor, and these are Cheetos sweet and salty marshmallow bars. And if you look at the ingredients, it's pretty much like a Rice Krispie: butter, marshmallows, and in this case little caramel bits. But if you look carefully, there are no amounts, none. They do give you a QR code here to scan. It takes you to the Flavor app, and when I went there, I could not find this exact recipe. But what I'm gonna do is extrapolate and essentially use a Rice Krispie treat formulation in terms of ratio to come up with the Cheeto version, which Cheetos, if you're gonna have a recipe, it should be, on the website. There were other versions. I did find some blog posts, but I wanted the OG original Flavor app Cheeto version, and I wasn't able to find the exact one. And when I say exact one, I mean this one, the one that has this little guy. It's supposed to be kind of like a little monster Frankenstein thing. And if you want, you can take these Cheeto snacks and take them to the monster level by dipping them in candy melts and adding some spooky eyeballs and some sprinkles. So I'm gonna make the treats, taste them, and then I will do the spooky version too and include that in the B-roll. Alrighty, so it does tell you to line an 8-inch by 8-inch dish with parchment, which I've done here. And then it says to melt together butter, marshmallows, and caramel morsels. So in a large bowl, I've got half a stick of butter here. That's a 1/4 cup. And I will include a link to my website where you can find the exact recipe amounts. To that, we're going to add 1 bag of marshmallows. These are the mini marshmallows. This is 10 ounces. It smells so vanilla and sugary. It says to add caramel morsels. How many? I don't know. These look like garbanzo beans. Look at them. Whoa. The first time I ever used these was when I made crock pot candy, which is super easy. It's like 5 minutes. You should definitely check that recipe out. Delicious candy, by the way. I am going to use half a bag. So this is 11 ounces. Chewy, sweet and caramel, but not at all sticky. That looks like garbanzo beans. Now I'm gonna place this in the microwave and microwave it for 1 minute. See where we're at. We want these to be totally melted because that's what's gonna hold all our Cheetos together. So 1 minute intervals until everything is melted. Into the microwave. Okay, lovelies. It's been about 2.5 minutes, and here is where we're at. It smells great. It smells vanilla and caramel and buttery. Now the caramels, the little caramel bits have sunk to the bottom, and those took a little bit longer to melt than the marshmallows. The marshmallows were done in about 2 minutes. So if you don't have the caramel bits, then you can just use marshmallow. I think it'll taste a little bit different maybe because the caramel adds like a brown sugary caramel flavor. So I'm mixing it all together so that the butter and everything is well distributed. So now while this is hot, we're going to add our Cheetos. Now you can use either crunchy or puffs, but I thought thought a puff would be better in this situation. Have more of an airier texture rather than a crunchy, although I prefer the crunchy if I'm just having them as a snack. But my youngest child is definitely team puff. Older child, team crunchy. All right, look at those. Look at that electric color. I'm gonna stir those in. I'm gonna crush them a little bit. Oh, did it say to crush them? Fold in crushed Cheetos. Oops. Alrighty. That might make it a little easier to stir if your Cheetos were crushed. So crush your Cheetos a bit. It doesn't say how much, because again, the instructions were not complete, but use a full bag and crush them a little bit before you put them in. And then you won't have quite the struggle that I'm having. All right, now we're gonna pour this into our parchment lined baking pan. I'm trying to work quickly here. Oh, this is a big bowl. Right. Into the parchment lined pan. Wow, this is gonna be fun to clean up. And then apply a little bit of oil to my hands. And with my impeccably cleaned oiled hands, I'm gonna press this into the pan. While it's still a little bit warm, this solidifies pretty quickly. I have to say, it does not look very cute. But again, I think this would have looked a little bit different had I had pre-crushed my Cheetos. But it just said add crushed Cheetos after. It didn't say crush your Cheetos and then add them. So, again. All right, so I'm gonna let these cool for about 15 minutes before we cut them and taste them. So it's gonna be tricky to cut when they're so sticky right now. So let these cool. Alrighty lovelies, next we're gonna make the cutest skull mushroom pizza. I was inspired by a post I saw on Instagram by Miss Green Kern. So all we need are some button mushrooms and a pizza. I'm gonna be using a frozen pizza because I'm gonna make this quick and easy. Mostly I just wanna make these stinking cute mushrooms. So it should go without saying that to make this pizza, you probably have to like mushrooms, right? So if mushrooms or mushroom pizza isn't your thing, then this wouldn't really be worth making. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. So all you need are some button mushrooms, white button mushrooms. The important thing is you want to make sure that you have the stalk. The stalk is going to be the teeth of the skull. So first thing, just using a little paring knife, we're going to cut it in half. And that will give us 2 skulls. Next, you're going to need a straw or something to poke the eyes with. So first we're going to take our straw and poke a pair of eyes. And the farther we space the eyes apart, the derpier it's going to look. So poke it in there, and sometimes the little bit of mushroom wants to stay in there. Kind of give it a wiggle and it'll snap the stalk off and give you a nice hollow eye. Same thing for the other eye. We're going to do opposite, right? Poke it in, give it a twist, and then wiggle it, and it should come out. Those are our eyes. Next, we're going to make the little nostril nose slits. And to make that, we're going to make 2 little slits using our paring knife. Make 2 little notches, see that? And then widen it up with the tip of your knife. Cute, right? Next, we're going to make the teeth. And we're going to take the tip of our paring knife and make little vertical lines and score it. And once this oxidizes, this will look darker. So leave a space and create another little slit by scoring it like that. Another space and scratch into it. Right? And as it oxidizes, it will show up a little better. Ta-da! Look at that. Isn't that cute? Front teeth, little nostril holes, and eyes. And when you do a bunch of them, you have a whole little army of skulls. Look how stinking cute. Some are sillier than others, but you see what happens as it oxidizes, as it sits out a little bit, the score marks get a little darker. So now we have our cute little mushrooms, and now we can place this on a pizza. If you want to make a homemade pizza, by all means. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a frozen pizza because got my frozen pizza, and I'm going to arrange my little skulls right on top of it. Oh, they're so cute. And bake it in the oven, and that's it. Skull pizza, skull mushroom pizza. So for this size pizza, which is about 10 inches in diameter, I've got 12 mushrooms, which in actuality is 6 mushrooms cut in half. Look how stinking adorable. Boom. All right, I'm gonna bake this and then we'll give it a taste. Can't wait to see how it looks baked up. Okay, let's slice up our Cheeto treats and make them into little monsters. Here is our brick of Cheeto, and we're gonna cut these into little rectangles so they look like little Frankenstein monster heads. It's a very satisfying slice, I have to say. And maybe I'll make them a little narrower so we get that dimension. Alrighty. So here is our little Cheeto crispy treat. And if we want to make this into a little monster, I have some white chocolate melted. You could use any color you like. And then we're gonna dip just the top portion of the upper third of the little guy, like that. And then stick on a pair of eyes. It instantly makes them alive. I love that. Like that. And then if you want, you can add some sprinklage. Ding, ding, ding. Like that, just to make it whimsical. And there we have it, a little ghost creature. And then let's just give this potential abomination a taste. Here we have it, our Cheeto crispy treat made with caramel and marshmallow. Let's give it a taste. Itadakimasu. Mmm. It's not bad. It's very airy and foam-like. It's like you're biting into a piece of foam insulation, like the pink stuff they use to insulate homes. It's like that. It's a big kind of foam bite, but the flavor is pretty good. It is very reminiscent of Rice Krispie treats, but it has a cheesy flavor to it. But it actually works. That's pretty good. These are still slightly warm, so the marshmallow and the caramel have a really great texture. It's stretchy and chewy. Let me see if I can get a pull at all. No, I can't get a pull, but there's a really nice chew to it, along with the foamy, airy texture. And a good balance of sweetness to savory, I would say. Good. I like them. All right, lovelies, our pizza is ready. Wow, this pizza looks good. This Cape Cod pizza, I've never bought it before. Look at that. Oh, they look so stinking cute. There's like a little bit of moisture in each of their eyeballs. See that? There's a little bit of moisture. They're like crying. Oh my gosh, they turn alive. Oh, this is so cute. Look. To see that little glimmer in their eye. This pizza turned out so stinking cute. I'm so pleased. Edges sound crispy. The middle, I think I've let sit, so it's not quite as crispy. You have to preheat the pan at 500 degrees, then bake the whole pizza at 500 for 11 to 13 minutes. And I baked mine for 11 and it looks great. I was concerned that the mushrooms wouldn't be cooked all the way, but they look great. This is not a pizza taste test necessarily. This is a mushroom skull taste test. So here is the pizza. Oh my gosh, look how stinking adorable that is. with the burnt edges. Alrighty, cheers to not burning the roof of my mouth. Itadakimasu. I didn't. That's good. Delicious. Very juicy mushroom because it was a whole mushroom, not a sliced mushroom, but scrumptious. Pizza's pretty good too. Reminds me a little bit of a Greek style pizza. A little soggy in the middle. Edges are nice and crisp, a little bit flaky, but delicious. So if you like mushroom pizza, consider making this. So stinking cute. Alrighty, so next we're gonna make little ghost decorations that we can use to decorate little cupcakes, store-bought cupcakes in this case, because we're going for easy and simple, but novel. And we're gonna be using the magical rice paper sheets. So we're gonna hydrate them in water, and then we're gonna use a baking sheet that has a Silpat silicone lined sheet, and we're gonna get this nice and soggy. These are pretty incredible. They are very, very rigid at first, but then you soak them in a little bit of water and they become very supple and pliant. So it's still hard, but just give it a second. So I'm gonna set that one aside and do another one. So we want this to be soft enough so that it can be drapey. This is gonna be our drapey little ghost. Now, I saw this on Instagram, but I did not save the video, so I cannot credit the user. If you know who that is, let me know down in the comments. I'm just doing this based off of memory, what I saw. And the first one he did is already getting soft. So now we can take our drapey material. See how it's just so flexible and almost cloth-like? Now we can take it and gather it up and make a little ghost and lay it on our sheet like that. If it sticks to itself, you can just dip it back in the water and it will loosen. So what I'm doing is just shaping it over my hand like that and pull my hand out, and then we get kind of a ghosty shape and place it on our silicone lined pan like that. Look, they already look like ghosts, right? Okay, now I'm gonna put this in a very low temperature oven, maybe 100 degrees or so, just to dry these out and so they get rigid again, so they turn back into this. Alrighty, not sure how long this is going to take, maybe 10 minutes, so I'm gonna do that right now. Alrighty, for the last one, we're just gonna fry up an egg that looks like a very sweet ghost holding a little pumpkin. Very simple, but it's all about technique. So, grab a sieve and a bowl. Got a really big egg from one of my chickens. Give thanks. And we're gonna crack it into the sieve. And this is going to get rid of the runniest parts of the egg white. We're gonna put this on a relatively low heat because we need to manipulate the egg whites a little bit. So add a little bit of oil. And then we're going to slide our egg onto the pan. Like that. Try to get our yolk to be in the middle. And then we're going to use our, oh, it's already starting to spool over. And try to create a little ghosty tail. So in the video I saw, they used a little bit of the wet egg white to paint a pair of arms, but I've got extra egg white here. I'm just going to cut these into a pair of arms. Just trim those. I don't think it's that necessary. So basically we're just going to cook this until the white is cooked and is no longer clear. This part is already done. I'm going to peel this part off, and these are going to be the little arms. I don't want these to get any color on them, so that's why I'm going to remove these right now. So I just checked on my little ghosties. They're going to take a while, maybe an hour or so to dry out. The little drapey ghosts made out of rice paper, so I will let them dry out completely and come back and finish the decorating because I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. Okay, now for this ghost, I'm gonna take it off the pan and slide it onto my plate. That's quite the pumpkin, cute. So I'm gonna put one little piece of egg white right here, cooked egg white, that's one arm. And where's another arm? This one? The other one right here. So it looks like it's hugging it. And then we'll take an eye for the ghost. One eye. These are little pieces of seaweed that I cut out using some scissors. And we're just gonna stick them on to give them a little character. Here you go. And then to make this into a jack-o'-lantern, we put the little eyes on like this. Ding. And the little tiny smile. Ta-da! Look at that. Isn't that cute? A little ghost made out of a fried egg and some nori. All right, my lovelies, there you have it. The sweetest, cutest looking fried egg I've ever seen. Don't even want to eat it, but this would be super cute for breakfast on top of toast. You could put it on rice. It would be so delightful and relatively easy to make. It's a little bit persnickety when it comes to cutting out the nori pieces. I recommend a sharp pair of sewing scissors to get those little fine details. And yeah, there you have it. A little sunny side up ghosty holding a pumpkin yolk. Super stinking cute. Alrighty, so I'm going to continue letting my other ghost dry, and I'll come back to assemble the cupcakes once they're nice and crunchy and hard. Alrighty, see you in a little bit. Alrighty, my lovelies, I am back with my completed ghosts. I ran out of time yesterday. These took about 2 hours in a low temperature oven, about 150 degrees. If you have a dehydrating setting on your oven, highly recommend doing that. But basically, you just want them to be dry and hard. Now, I don't think these are going to be very tasty. They are just rice paper, but they're more for decoration. And if you're like me, you've got rice paper left over from some other cooking project, or I just always have rice paper extra. So these are a fun little ghosts to make with very little effort. So our ghosts wouldn't be ghosts without faces, so let's add some eyes. Here they are. I think they look great, shiny, rock hard, and very ghosty, wouldn't you say? Look, isn't that great? Love that. So to add the faces, I've just got some chocolate that I've put into a piping bag and set in the microwave so that it's nice and liquidy. We could also use the candy eyes that we used before if you've got them, but whatever you got, basically. So I've got some store-bought cupcakes. Place them on my cake stand. Cut the tip off the piping bag. I always like to go a little bit smaller because then we can always make it bigger. Alrighty, and now let's just pipe on a couple eyes. That's it. Look, little ghost. I guess we could make a little mouth if we wanted to. So it has a little boo mouth. Make a little oval in the middle. Okay, there's one ghost. And as I said before, if we wanted them to look a little bit more derpy, we could add these little candy eyes as well. But we need to stick them on, so just a little dab, and then stick our eyes on. It makes them look like the Fry Guys from McDonald's. Do you remember the Fry Guys? I don't think you should have a boo, this one. This time I'm going to put the chocolate on the eye, and that will make placement a little easier, I think. And less likely to get too much chocolate. See, we get smarter with time, I hope. Okay, yeah, that's the one. All right, so now we have our 3 ghosts. And then we're gonna make this easy, right? I've got pre-made chocolate cupcakes here. So let's stick the ghost into the cupcake. And since it's so rigid, it'll stand right up. And then I'm gonna use some of these same sprinkles I used before to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. Alrighty, there it is. Cute little ghost. So that's one with the little drippy eyes. Let's do one with the chocolate eyes. Same thing, just stick it right in. Look at that, pretty cute, right? I like it. And then the last one, stick them right into the cupcake. Doink. Then we have it, a little family of ghosts. This one needs sprinkles. Sprinkles are great, but they manage to get everywhere, right? Kind of like glitter. There we have it, very fun ghosts. So easy. Alrighty, my lovelies, there you have it, 4 easy Halloweeny treats. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye!